Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How are you doing? It's Porky here, the voice of hardcore boxing. But then again, you know that, don't you? Because that's why you keep tuning in. Right, jotted a nice juicy script down here, very juicy. Going to go through it in a minute. I'm going to drop a few Porky bombs today, near middle and near end. But first things first, took a bit of advice from some pals last night. Let me just get this out there. Right. We only do YouTube on social media, YouTube, because it's about just as much as I can manage, with my schedule. So we only do YouTube. We don't comment on other people's YouTube. So any boxers out there that get comments on videos that they've been in on YouTube and it says Porky's Corner, it's not us. Now, to prove that, what you have to do is you have to click on the little link and then the website comes up. And if you go to the part that says about, it'll tell you when the channel was set up. So there's a couple of Porky YouTube accounts out there that have been set up in the last couple of weeks. And it'll tell you they've got like 1 subscriber or 2 subscribers and they've been going 6 days, 9 days, whatever. This was started in 2017. So just so you know, I just want to get that out there. We don't do Twitter. I think there's 6 accounts on Twitter. People saying to me, Porky's Corner or Porky on his toes or Porky's screams or whatever. Porky's missing teeth. Look, yeah, it's not me. So I just want to point that out. There is an Instagram account. I don't run it. Somebody said, oh, I'm going to direct people to your channel, Russ. I went, well, look, I'd rather you didn't. He said, no, I just want to help you out. So there is an Instagram account. I think it's Porky's Corner _1 or something. I believe Conor Ben were on it other day looking at it and subscribed, then unsubscribed, whatever. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm not in this to make mates. But the kid who runs the Insta is a nice kid called Craig. I said to him, well, look, if you want to do it and direct people to the YouTube, which is what I do, feel free, but don't interact with these people because 95% of them are double agents. They try and befriend you to get your phone number. Then before you know where you are, they start doing this and that. Because people are locked up in house all day, aren't they? We know what to do. And all I do now is just block them. I'm getting a new phone number in the next couple of days. It's going to be, there ain't going to be 412, is it? Oh, there ain't going to be 392 people on my phone. There'll be about 42 if you're lucky enough to have my number. Because there's too many double agents, right? Too many people trying to derail the Porky Express, and you've not got a chance. Not got a chance, but it is what it is. But I'm doing my job, aren't I, if people are setting up accounts? Because I keep seeing these accounts on here. Eddie Hearn, Coogan Hearn, Eddie Cassius. Now, they get them set up about them all the time, and I'm going through it now, and I think it's quite funny that people have got no else better to do. But my advice is, set your own YouTube channels up. If you're brave enough to go behind a keyboard, right? If you're brave enough to go behind a keyboard, I mean, calling yourself whatever. I mean, what's that, guys? I'll give him a bit of kudos because he is a bit quite funny. Johnny Horsecock Nelson. Why would you want to call yourself that when it's not you? I don't get that. I don't get that. Everybody has plenty to say for themselves behind a keyboard. If I have anything to say, I'm in front of the camera. So anything else that you say is not from me. You might get odd interaction from me on this channel on comment section, which is very, very, very rare. And I have to more or less know the person or know of the person. It's very rare I will comment on here, very rare. And I sometimes get told, what are you interacting with him for? Because I think that's way forward. But who is anybody on here now anymore? Who is anybody? There's that many aliases and people acting out fantasies, pretending to be other people. Yeah, and you know you are. And most of you have got board licenses. Isn't that right, Steffi Ball? Acting out fantasies. Because you want to get your point across about what's happening in the sport of boxing. But you're that frightened to come out and say it like me that you have to resort to making fake accounts up. I mean, God. That's the first thing I want to address. The second thing, people emailing South Yorkshire Packaging Services at Rotherham Where's the other one? The girl at Watchfinder. And the girl at Lacoste. Local here. Emailing these people, it's not going to get you anywhere. All you're going to do is make my job easier, because it means that I'm doing my job, being controversial and saying the things that you daren't say in front of a camera, but you dare say it on a fake account. I think there's nothing more ridiculous than that. In fact, the only thing more ridiculous than that, and this is Carl Frotcher's words, the only thing more ridiculous than fake accounts is somebody scratching a man's car. And I've had that on my four-wheel drive Toyota. But tyres done up, mate, recently. One at centre caps as well. There's no more ridiculous than that, and then running away on camera. There's no more ridiculous, is there? But it is what it is. If you put yourself out there, like I do, you have to take it on the chin. So, right, let's get some work done today, because today's, is it Wednesday today? Today's Wednesday. I forget, I lose track of days. And I think I've got an interview with a former fighter who's been in with Cobra today. He said yes, but I'm hoping that he's going to come on. People say yeah, then they go, oh, Dan, I want to work on TV down the line. I don't come on your channel, Porky. Well, don't come on then. But don't say you're gonna, and then bottle it. So I've got no time for people who'll give the word, then go back on it. There's talkers and there's smoky bacon walkers. Now, I'm Smoky Bacon Walkers. What are you people? Yeah, you people. You know, you people with board licenses setting fake accounts up. Anyway, I've wasted enough energy on that. Like I've just said to you for the last time, if I have anything to say, I say it in front of a camera. Or if somebody comes on my channel and says anything, yeah, my channel, what happens is, and you think it's me, just click on the button and then click about, and you'll see if it's me or if it's somebody's fake. In fact, I think what we'll have to do, we'll have to withhold all comments from now on. We'll have to do that. I think we'll withhold all comments, and then these here will have to sift through them, because it's just, that's how bad it's getting now. So there is ways around it to counteract all you little trolls. Right. Keep growing the Porky legend. Right, it's come to my attention that Joseph Parker is all over at newspapers. He's the statements read out in court and blah, blah, blah. They're saying that he's involved, or he knows people, allegedly, who are involved in importing whatever, X amount of drugs into New Zealand and that. I don't believe it. It was in the Sun newspaper. How can you believe anything that anybody says in the Sun newspaper? Nobody believes it, do they? You know, it's not even good enough for toilet paper, is it, the Sun? So I don't believe it. But Joseph Parker, he's all over the Sun newspaper. I didn't see Dave Caldwell doing a sermon about it, or Ben Davidson about Joseph Parker. I don't see that, or Sky giving it any airtime. Why is that? Why is that? If that was somebody else who they weren't working with, it'd be all over Sky, that, wouldn't it? Don't you think? That's just my opinion. He's got a third pay-per-view coming up, Joseph Parker, against Chisora. His third on Sky. The living legend Carl Froch only had 3, and he brought it back. So I just think that's in bad form. So Ed Robinson, why aren't you giving that any airtime or sending your camera crews to speak to Joseph Parker about that? It'll be very interesting in the build-up to the Derek Chisora fight if Ed Robinson puts the cameraman and does a full-on production. Write script. I like to write scripts, you told me once, didn't you, Ed? Well, will you be doing anything on Joseph Parker's alleged involvement and some stuff read out in court and all that on this methamphetamine or whatever it is, import drug thing case and blah, blah, blah? Will you be doing any filming on that, Ed Robinson? Right, because, I mean, I remember you getting a load of filming to Nigel Travis, didn't you? Because he went to a few fights one week and were flying all over the place. But he were getting paid for it, wasn't he, Ed? Oh, but that's your mate, innit? That's your mate, Ed. So it is what it is. I just want to know if you're going to give that any airtime. I don't know. But But I don't know. But like I said, will Sky Sports be giving Joseph Parker any airtime regarding the rumour doing the rounds that he's pretending to be the cocky watchman from Liverpool, Curtis Warren? Well, that's what it is, isn't it? Important. Anyway, moving on. Let's have a look. Moving on. I'm going to find it. Just going to blast through these. In other news, it's painful to see Dean, I've lost my birth certificate, White, on a down market YouTube channel talking about Dillian, I've no balls, White, knocking out Wilder. Dean, do me a favour, mate. Do me a big favour. Go to the register office in South London, where you're from, Brixton. Go in there and get your birth certificate. Then go get a driving licence and put it on social media. Let's see who you really are. Because I'm hearing about 4 different names, mate. 4 different names. So stop going on about Dylan knocking Wilder out. You know, he couldn't knock a wet echo out. Do you know what I mean? So just stop it. Let me just stop you there, Dean. Let me just stop you. Right. Dylan White's saying he's the can man. Anybody who wants it can get it. Well, so far, who's getting it? Oh, he's fighting his 5th fight against a man over 40 out his last 10. Is that right? 5th? Fights old men. Anybody who wants it can't get it. Dylan White. My old sparring partner, Dylan White, on social media. The man who I told in a direct message, they're going to put you in with Chisora again. He went, nah, bruv, nah. Well, they did, didn't they? And when Chisora loses another fight and you lose another, Dylan, they'll put you in a rubber match with him. And there'll be tables going over, water spat, rolling about all over the floor. The scripts are already being written. Isn't that right, Mr. David A? The Bermondsey whore. But it is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. So, yeah, Dylan White's no balls. Dillian's been put to kit twice. I can't remember him knocking out anybody in top 15. If anybody knows anybody that Dylan White has iced who's ranked in the top 15 or who were ranked in the top 15 when he fought them, answers on a postcard. PokeyCorner@mail.com. All right. Which brings me to Mr. Jim Montgomery. No offence, your MP or whoever you are, whether you're fake or not, looks genuine. I don't want you on my channel. I don't have MPs coming on here. All right, mate. Don't want you on here. So stop emailing here. You will not get on this channel. MPs are not welcome, Mr. Jim Montgomery. All right. You want to watch my channel? Watch it by all means, but I don't have you people on here. All right. That's that one sorted. I saw a couple of pictures of Dylan White with Lennox Lewis. He practically had his tongue up his hoop. And it wasn't so long ago that Dillian used to hammer Lennox Lewis. Isn't that poetic, that? Now he's hanging out the back of him. Why is that? Probably wants him to train him. How many trainers he have now, Dylan White? Oh my, how many advisors has he got? He's walking around in all these tracksuits, these maximum violence, can man tracksuits, should be can't man. Well, they want a vacant British. Unbelievable. It reminds me of that. Who got it now? Even though Dave Allen fought twice, he came to Dennis's office. David Howe. They all had David Howe tracksuits on. This is a guy who was a journeyman, right? David Howe come to Dennis's office. Never forget. All of them had matching tracksuits. He had masseur, strength and conditioner, nutritioner, seconds, cornerman, cutman, manager. People need to concentrate on learning your craft. Let me tell you a little story. I went to meet Carl Froch on my birthday, my 41st birthday, October the 19th, 2011. And he was in camp for Andre Ward, and he was 15 minutes late. Anyway, he's trying to get through big swivel doors at Ellaby Hotel. Up here, it's over here at Ellaby. You've got the biggest sports bag you've ever seen in your life, and he's trying to get it through. So, and I'm stood watching him. I says, "Where's your entourage helping you, Cobra?" You know what he said to me? "Why do I need to pay somebody to tell me what to eat and when to get up in the morning and when to train? Why? Why does he need to do that? Why does he need Robert McCracken to follow him in a car while he's doing his training? Why? If you can't get up and do your cardiovascular, you're not going to be a champion, are you? If you can't get up and do your runs. If you don't know what to eat and somebody's got to tell you what to eat and when to eat, you're not doing your job. You're not getting the maximum out of your career." But yeah, we've got these people all of a sudden. Everybody wants to be Floyd Mayweather, don't they, with entourages and Anthony Joshua. These are champions. You didn't see Cobra wearing entourage, did you? Do you know what I mean? Only time I've ever seen him wearing entourage when I was ringside in Manchester when he fought Groves. And all them people got in ring. I could never understand that. I never understood that. There were too many jumping on the Cobra Express at the time. You didn't see Porky in ring, did you? Am I saying that? I had a Brock ring at that time. Probably tipped it over. You know what I mean? It's right. Somebody sent me a question regarding my weight. How much do I weigh? 14.9 this morning. So I've got £5 to go before I'm cruiserweight. Point I want to make is somebody said to me, "Porky, when did you realise you wanted to have a gastric?" Well, the Cobra were giving me encouragement that day, 2011, on my birthday. I was fat as a pig Michelin, man, I was. But a period after that, I went out to a 40th birthday party. I went to 41st. I went to this local pub, and you know when people come up to you and they go, "Hey, up, Russ, I haven't seen you for years." God, you put some weight on. That's a trigger, innit, if you're carrying loads of weight. The other one were a comedian were in this club, and I got up to go to the toilet to powder my nose. And this comedian said, "Sit down, mate, you're tipping club up." So I sat down. And obviously I'd already had some that night, and I was paranoid to death like that. And I was asking people, my mate, "Do you think I put some weight on?" They're like, "Well, Porky, you are 28 stone." "Yeah, but you're Porky, aren't you?" "Yeah, no, but it was getting to the stage where it were affecting me." And it's hard to get anything on off at government, you know, like gastric band. You have to jump through hoops. They make you go through a physio every week at Asken, and they make you go to a nutritionist at More Ends. At the time, I was living in Oakley, so I was going More Ends, Asken, every week. And if you miss any appointments, they just put you to the bottom. At least you've got to do it a year. Eventually, after about 9 months, I was late, and they just struck me off, so I paid for it. But the point I want to make is the gastric bands can save your life. All right, but I was fat as a pig Michelin, man, and it were no good. But the tipping point, and for the gentleman who asked me, and obviously you've asked me because you told me your weight, and I'm not going to say your name and what weight you are, but the tipping point was when I went to watch Liverpool, and they drew 0-0 with Stoke, I think it was, and that would have been 2012. Something like it. We were at Anfield anyway. We're 0-0, and I remember parking near Liverpool ground, and you can pull into people's back gardens and they let you pay, don't they, 20 quid and that. So we parked up, and I remember walking. It's up a hill, innit, to Anfield. So I'm walking up, and I sat down on this wall next to the Israelis, and I'm like, I said to my mate, "God, I think I'm having an heart attack." And he said, "I'm not surprised with the size of you, Porky." So that's a true story. And that's when I decided, you know what? I'm just going to pay for it. And I've never looked back since. So that's a true story. I've never looked back since. So I'm nearly half the person I were, but it's been a struggle. So that's for the people asking about my weight. So I can understand when I see people like Dylan White putting timber on, and Dave Allen and Lucas Brown, but with them it's only a few stone, isn't it? With me, I was eating people. But anyway, so that's that now. Now look at me. I'm never going to get on solids, am I? Speaking of hoops, I mean, speaking of Dylan White, with his tongue up Lennox Lewis's hoop, Sadiq Khan Worst London mayor ever. You know you are, Sadiq Khan. You have made millions of people miserable in London, including me, and I'm not a Londoner, with your fines for drivers and fines for this and fines for that and etc. etc. But why are you whispering to the chosen few that Anthony Joshua will get a knighthood, and you're gonna see to it that he does before your term in office is done? Because haven't you had your 8 year already, but they've gave you an extra year, so that's 9 years of misery from you. Yeah, you, Sadiq Khan. I mean, could you imagine this 300 years ago? You in charge at London Mayor. That is unbelievable. But look what you've done. You've done more damage than ever. Gun control and knife control and fines are out of control. But yet you've given Joshua a what? MBE? What MBE you give him? Is it? Or you give him an OBE? You might not have been in power when he got his MBE. I'm not sure about that. But I think so, yeah. In 2013 he got that. 8 year. I don't know, it's borderline, isn't it? But MBE, you've given him an OBE, and now you're talking about a KBE or KCE or whatever it is, a knighthood, isn't it? It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. The guy's, what is he, 31 year old? Unbelievable. There's a lot of people more deserving than that. What about all these nurses? Why don't you start giving them awards? All these nurses who work for NHS who are saving lives, and doctors and people like that. Not multi-millionaire sportsmen who are going to go fight in a country where they torture people and throw gays off buildings. Well, he's already fought there, hasn't he? Hey, I'm not going to get British fans to fight, but you're going to give him a knighthood. You should be embarrassed. Why don't you go get Tyson Fury an MBE for what he's done for boxing? Turned his life around, hasn't he? Go get him one. You're giving Joshua a knighthood. Well, you gave Barry Hearn an award, haven't you? He's had an award. My God, what's all that about? Eh? Unbelievable. So what are we going to call him then? Sir Tony? Eh? Sir Anthony or Sir Femi, the big dosser? I don't know, but it stinks to high heaven, doesn't it? Stinks to high heaven. Fury's 12 pints of beer a day. I do not believe at all. It's all to state media, isn't it? It's been out at ring 14 months now. I mean, they're spinning narratives and yarns every single day, aren't they? Tyson Fury and his dad, big pants, young Fury, fighting man that don't fight. They're spinning something every single day. Just get the fight on now. It's getting a bit boring, isn't it? My advice would be concentrate your energy, Tyson, and staying focused. I mean, you're into your, like I just said there, your 14th month. Let me take this off. So, you know what I mean? It's not good. It's not good at all, is it? It's not good at all. But what can you do? What can you do? Some people just want to be in media, don't they, all the time? Joshua's got his head down training, though, hasn't he? And what's Tyson doing? Doing a lot of screaming about it, isn't he? But my opinion is this. I think all they're doing is playing into Joshua's hands because they're going to give it all this hype and they're not going to fight. That's what I think. I'm going to go with my gut instinct. I don't think Anthony Joshua really wants this fight because I don't see how he beats Fury, me. I don't see how it happens. And Eddie Hearn can pull that rug from under anybody's feet at any time. I mean, they're now making announcements about announcements. They're making an announcement to say there's going to be an announcement in 30 days and all that. What's all that about? We've got Garrel Anil Davis coming out doing his Monday morning sermon. He's a bit of a sermon guy, isn't he? Gareth Anil Davis. Garrel Anil Davis is the sort of guy that'll go up to a boxer, and I know that because I've heard back, and tell him that when he goes to Vegas, he likes that. What is all that about, Gareth? Eh? What is all that about? Come and call me out on what I've just said, Gareth, and I'll bring Boxer and put him on my channel. Come and call me out on that, you little weasel. But it is what it is, isn't it? Speaking of Fury, I did tell you all a year ago that he had legal problems, and I still go by that. And I think Eddie Hearn and them, they know what's going on, but we're not hearing anything from Al Heyman or Shelley Finkel, are they? Because they're pretty comfortable with all this, aren't they? They're just ready to issue that writ. And I've never known so many pansies all pandering about and getting themselves involved in all this. I keep turning TV and I keep seeing all Juggiers, Spencer Oliver's Tuesday morning sermons on TalkSport with Simon Jordan, who I think is probably the most sensible person I've ever heard on radio. I'm a big, massive fan of Simon Jordan's. Massive. But I bet Eddie Hearn's rubbing his hands together at the moment. It is what it is, isn't it? But I still see Eddie Hearn and Joshua poncing a living with Joshua, fighting C-class guys like Pooler, Chisora, Parker, Dylan White. You know, people like that. They don't want to mention Joe Joyce or Usyk, do they? Don't want to go near them guys, do they? So I see Anthony Joshua poncing a living with Eddie Hearn, saying Fury didn't want it. He didn't want the Joshua smoke, so we've got to go our own route. So let's see. But I hope in my heart that we get the fight on and that Tyson Fury punches Joshua upside down. But I don't think they want it. I think there's more twists and turns in the plot, and I'm going to stick by my assumption from day one that there's legal problems ahead. Then we've got the old Usyk Joyce thing. I mean, when is the cutoff point for Team Joyce and Team Usyk to say, listen, you've got to vacate that belt? When's the cutoff point for that? And what's the point in having all these mandatories if they're just going to supersede it with unifications and all that? I mean, it's craziness. We're going around in circles with it, aren't we now? And I'm a bit fed up of it, but it is what it is. Well done to Joe Gallagher. Oh, Joe G. Waitrose Joe. Used to be Tesco Joe, and I used to hammer him, didn't I? Tesco Joe. Crawler got beat in his last fight, and he didn't deserve a rematch with Linares, and he shouldn't be in with Lomachenko. Look, Joe's going to do it best for his fighter, isn't he? But Joe G has had two of his fighters nominated for Fight of the Year. So I think that's good, isn't it, that? For British Boxing World Control, and one of them, Natasha Jonas, she's won the with Terry Harper from Doncaster, Dennery, DN12. They've won the best female fight at year, so isn't that good? Are any of Ben Davidson's fighters nominated this year? Or Dave Penfold Caldwell? No, they're not. So will we be seeing a Ben Davidson sermon or a Dave Caldwell Monday Mass sermon on Joe G's fighters being nominated for awards? No, we won't, because Caldwell's not going to, is he? Because they're not going to give Joe airtime now, are they? Now it looks like he's hardly working with Sky. Or he might be working with Sky, but he ain't with Callum, is he? Because Joe's willing to do it best with his fighters. So I don't know. Maybe they might not give him airtime. I don't see IFL doing anything with Joe Gallagher or his fighters at the moment. Does everybody agree? 1 minute you couldn't get IFL out of Joe G's gym, could you? But it is what it is. The class of 2016, the Olympians, are now moving into 2021, and it looks like we might have a first female champion. Am I right? Could have that wrong, but I think I might be right. Lawrence Okolie, a.k.a. the Octopus. You wouldn't open your curtains to watch Lawrence Okolie, but he's on Megado. And let's have it right, he used to flip burgers in McDonald's. And when he's done with boxing and nobody's interested in him, what he'll be doing, he'll be flipping 20 stones of crack cocaine down where he's from, because it's good crack around there. That's where he'll be heading if he hasn't looked after his money. But I hope he has, because you've got to respect a man who's flipping burgers in McDonald's and then says he wants to be a boxer and goes to Olympics. So good luck to Lawrence Okolie, but I wouldn't open my blinds to watch him. Only time I'd open my blinds to watch Lawrence Okolie is if I heard a little sound at middle at night and I was like that. And it was a Sunday about 4 a.m. and I was off my trolley. That's the only time I'd open my blinds to watch Okolie. If we were outside my house having a tear up. So Lawrence Okolie's fighting Glaunaki. I mean, what is he? 2 years out at ring? Nearly 2 years out at ring, coming off a loss. How's he in a world title fight? Oh my God, which sanctioning body is it? Send them more. Send them more. But Lawrence Okoli, I hope you win and bring that belt home and give Eddie Hearn his first champion from the 2016 batch. And if that happens, it's looking good, isn't it? Everything I've been saying from the EIS being a conveyor belt for Eddie Hearn, Robert McCracken, Anthony Joshua. Oh, them boys have got it all worked out there, haven't they? Nobody is saying a word. Our IFL, our Boxing Social, Behind the Gloves, Seconds Out, Sporting Icons, we'll give him a little mention. All Sporting. Been doing some good videos lately, though, so I'll give him his dues. Hatman, is he mentioning it? No, they're not going to mention anything about the lottery-funded EIS. They're not going to mention that up there, are they? They're not going to mention that. Am I saying that? I didn't mention it much today when Cobra were training up there, so maybe I'm a bit hypocritical. I didn't agree with it, though. But then again, I went on social media then 2009 when Carl started up there. And my channel started 2017. Cobra's last fight was 2014. Boyaka! So, what have we got? We've got Eddie Hearn, or Eddie Hills, the 4-0 super heavyweight amateur star, the Iceman, free by way of from Billericay, putting kids in world title fights against men that haven't had a fight for 2 years, who are old as the hills. Oh my God! Is that an advantage for a Coley? You better believe it is. You better believe it is. It's a big advantage, isn't it? But Eddie's on a loser to note here, because if a Coley wins, we're all still going to say Styles crap and he's awful and the kid were out nearly 2 years who he's fighting. And if he loses, we're going to say he's crap anyway. So Eddie's on a loser here, isn't he? Eddie Hills, the Iceman, 2 skills bouts Eddie had, and they don't declare a winner. So, isn't that right? We know all about that, don't we? Eric Guy, he don't mess about. Old Eric Guy, he telling the truth. Big amateur guy who films boxing. 2 skills bouts. And what I found interesting in that interview that Eddie did with one of these guys who we had a skills bout with, what I found interesting were how Eddie never really spoke about much about it and blah, blah, blah. He never really gave us what we wanted. And why was that? Because Coogan were asking questions, wasn't he? Coogan, you were too busy in that interview with your finger and your tongue stuck up somebody's hoop. But whose hoop was it? Hey? We know what Coogan's favourite crisps are, don't we, Coogan? Hula hoops. It is what it is. But we're flying through it all tonight. Do you know what I've noticed about these Sharpie pens? Sharpie, you want to send me some of these? I think they're fantastic, but when they go through the paper, if you write on the other side, it goes straight through. So you're costing these a fortune in paper. It is what it is. Yeah, we're moving on from Eddie and Iceman theory. We're now up to, but even if a Coley does win, this is a good return for McCracken, isn't it? And all facilities up there, that lot I've got with Sheffield. Yeah, we spoke about all that, haven't we? They've got ice baths, oxygen chambers, therapeutic whale music rooms where you go in and it's all relaxed. They've got sleeping rooms, best nutrition, best strength and conditioning, best food, best freshest organic vegetables. They've got them little margins that everybody else wants to have up there. And they still had a terrible 2016 at Olympics, didn't they? So is McCracken doing his job, or has he just got lucky? I don't know. I'm a big Robert McCracken fan, but he's had it off, hasn't he? Let's have it right. And he wouldn't be nowhere if he went for Carl Froch and Mick Hennessy, would he really? So that's how I look at it. But they are milking it up there, milking it dry. But I want to know, can Joe Gallagher take his fighters up there? Can Dominic Ingle go down there and use all facilities? Can Dave Caldwell? Can Richard Towers? Can John Fuchs, Dennis Hobson's, who runs Dennis Hobson's gym? Can they all just breeze in there and use everything like all these Joshua fighters are using it? Or can they go in sauna and ice bath and sauna and back and forward, like AKA Skins and his Black Lives Matter Under Armour tracksuit with all them gimps who hang around with Joshua? Can anybody just use it? It costs all Joshua's fighters are using it, aren't they? Strutting about and their ice cream outfits or whatever they're wearing, licorice tracksuits, whatever, them black tracksuits they wear with BLM on and Team Joshua. Can anybody use it? I don't know. It is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. But I don't know. Like I said, I've been up there. I've been up there with Mick Whale and Josh, and and Dennis, and we were watching some people be put through the paces by Richard Towers. But I think they had to pay to get in, and that was only running track. But can they use all the other facilities that Team Joshua used? I don't think so now. So, like I said, they've got everything up there. So why is that still going up there? Why is all that being allowed to happen? Is it because of Sadiq Khan or Sheffield MP's not doing the job? Is it fair on everybody else? I'm not so sure. I am not so sure at all. But I've got all my lists all mixed up here. Let's have a look. That's my schedule. Hang on a minute. Would pundits in boxing be allowed to lie so much in any other sport? No, they wouldn't. For example, football, Graham Souness, Jamie Carragher, Gary Neville, Micah Richards. They all tell the truth, don't they? If their teams that they've been associated with or affiliated with most of their life are playing, sometimes people say they're biased, but I've never seen it. Souness set about Liverpool overnight, didn't he? Even though they won. Carragher does it regular. Gary Neville's been setting about Man United for years, only because he wants a job, though. Isn't that right, Gary Neville? Come see me, Gary Neville. I don't like you. I'm a Liverpool fan. But no, they tell it straight, don't they? And then they'll go have a beer with all the players and that. It's the job, innit? But what we've got at the moment in boxing is we've got a load of people eating hula hoops. They're all eating hula hoops with their favourite boxing promoters and with their mates. And nobody dares say a word because they're all peppermint and they want to get back on TV and get themselves out there. So nobody dares say out. So it is a problem. Nobody's coming out and telling the truth, are they? Adam Smith's not going to come out and say a word, is he, against any matchroom fighters? Rough, tough, rugged. When they put somebody in to get bashed up, what winds me up is when Adam Smith says, do you know what, Matt? This guy's game, and Matt will go, yeah, Adam, he's durable. He's on shaky legs. He's durable. You know what I mean? These people are narrating the story home. That many people email me now and they say they've gone off Matthew Macklin. I actually think Matthew Macklin were great. I still class him as a former world champion because he were royally shafted. He were royally shafted against Felix Sturm in Germany, but as a pundit, he started off brilliant, but then he ended up joining the cult of Bean. Once you get that finger pricked, and you rub that card like that, and Bean indicts you, or whatever they call it, inducts you, indicts you. Yeah, Bean, you want indicting, don't you? And that laptop in Beanie. Bean! What I mean, could have been, should have been, never been, baked bean, creepy bean, jelly bean, beans on toast, Beanie! Rumpelstiltskin, we're on to you. We're on to you. But Macklin's gone downhill in my opinion, and the rest of them have. Well, I mean, who's doing it better than Carl Froch on Sky at the moment? Who? Tony Bellew. Anybody see his TalkSport interview the other day, eating Joshua's hula hoops? You see that? They always wheel him out, don't they? Why do they always wheel him out? Everybody in boxing knows that Tyson Fury punches Joshua upside down and that they don't want the fight. Joshua don't want that fight. You don't think Eddie Hearn wants to put him near him just yet, do you? There's rich pickings to pick off. He's got 4 belts for starters. Fury's only got 1 plus ring belt. Come on, Eddie. Come on. Eddie's, don't try and kid a kidder, Eddie. You don't want that Tyson Fury smoke, Eddie. You don't want it. But it is what it is, isn't it? Mention I don't do comments on other YouTube. Oh, mentioned it. I don't do comments. I've got these back to front. This is last night's script. No, we don't do comments on it. What we do, we just speak in front of a camera. How can I hammer people for hiding behind the keyboard and then me go doing it and then go on my channel and start going on other YouTube channels commenting and saying, oh, I don't agree with that and blah, blah, blah. So how can I say that? What we say it in front of the camera. We say what all you board licensors didn't say. You didn't. You didn't say a word. Address social media shithouses. We've done that. Word is AJ's bottling it. That's come from somebody at media. Don't worry, I'm not going to mention your name, but I do know what paper you work for because you sent me an email. Yeah, we all know AJ's bottling it. We all know he's bottling it, but they're going to make out they're not. Look, this is chess, not checkers. They're all playing chess at the moment. Tyson Fury was moving his chess pieces about the other day when Dummy come out. 2 weeks before he was putting videos out when he jumped in Morecambe Siebert. We know that one last month or this month, don't we, Tyson? Well, months ago. Come on. You're going to have to think of something a bit better than that, Tyson. A bit like his father, innit, running 10 miles in the morning and then doing all them other sessions in gym straight after. All the way out and his spinach down him. Come on. Look, people say things for effect, don't we? I keep turning my telly on and we've got Tommy Fury there hanging out at the back of whatever YouTube channel mentioning Jake Paul's name. Tommy, you're a 5-0 professional. Move on with your career. Make your own way. Just don't try and jump into fights like that and then telling us it's about legacy and you're going to be a British champion when you wanted to fight YouTubers. Jeez. Look, people are now becoming addicted to getting themselves out there. It's like I don't know, it's a drug to some people, isn't it? Learn your craft. Learn your craft. You know what I mean? Take a leaf out of Carl Frotcher's book. When he was in camp, you never saw him on social media, hardly. Take a leaf out of these people's books. Concentrate on learning your craft. It's your job. Forget about social media. Start shooting your mouth off when you get a world title. So that's for later. That one. Simon can cover that. Simon Thompson, I haven't forgot you. Michael Apollo, I haven't forgot you. There's a whole list. Richard Towers, I've not forgot you. I haven't forgot you. Cash, Ali, I haven't forgot you either. I just have too much other things to do at the moment, but we're going to get it all sorted. Filming outside. Estrada Chocolatito. Right, listen to this. Let me put this on for you.
They only care about their little piece of turf. That's all they care about. They could give two craps about the rest of the property out there that belongs to boxing. They could give two damns about that. They only care about their property. What their and keeping that healthy. And I'll tell you what, some of these stupid executives at the networks, they don't even know they've been turned into farm clubs. Yeah, farm clubs, growing fields, so that the promoter can grow their guys, farm their guys, and then be able to continue to have a cottage industry out there where they can continue making money and every once in a while pop one of their undefeated fighters in a fight with the less risk possible, unless it's a mega fight, unless it's a Mayweather and Pacquiao that comes around, once in a lifetime. Unless it's that, then both got to get together. We got to do it because we can't leave that money on the table. But other than that, they just use it as a farm system just to build up their guys and put them in with subpar fights on the network that the fans have to suffer through in order to get those undefeated records. And the networks just, they sit back like not even aware. I guarantee you they're not aware because they're looking at other things. They're looking at other, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, other things. And they're not really looking at this. It's programming that suits their purpose. It gets a certain audience in there. So they go along. They don't even look. They only look when it gets really bad. When it gets dire. When they'll start to lose money. But a lot of these cable networks, like HBO for years, they overpaid. They were idiots running it. We're great, we're geniuses. No, they weren't geniuses. They were morons. But they were. Some of them were egotistical, arrogant, freaking morons. But they could throw $5 million to these overpaid heavyweights, and they could put them on, and just pay them whatever. Just pay them anything. Just write a blank check. And there was never any accountability for these networks, for these executives. You know why? Because it was subscription based. So the subscribers were there still for the movies, for boxing, so the subscription base, they never really took a look at, the boxing were overpaying. And we're not really getting back the bang for our dollar because the overall subscribers was still healthy. And as long as that was still healthy, well, then there was no light really shined on their department, on their part of how they were running the boxing, how they were overpaying, how they weren't always. And then later on, as Ross Greenberg went down the road, the fights got worse. And
you heard what Teddy Atlas said there, and that's a fantastic podcast. It's loads better than mine. He words things a lot better than me, but people keep saying, "You're Porky, you're a poor man's Teddy Atlas." Well, I take that as a compliment. My style's a bit different to Teddy's, but he does rant and rave like me at times. What he's saying there is, and I agree with, look, Eddie Hearn didn't want to work with Frank Warren. What they put? 3 or 4 fights in 10 years. So they don't like each other, do they? But they want to work together now, don't they? Why is that? Because they're going to leave money on the table, aren't they? So I think it's very interesting to see, but I'm still not convinced that Eddie wants to do it. I'm not 100%, not yet anyway. But like I said, when they want to leave money on the table, so if they're not going to want to leave money on the table, they'll want to work together because money is their god, and that's right. It's called prize fighting, isn't it? You got to get a prize, haven't you? But moving on, Estrada Chocolatito. What was that guy doing there? 117, 111. What we're doing? Why is it the WBA that are suspended him? Why can't these other organisations start doing that? It's a bit rich coming from WBA, isn't it? They're in bed with everybody, aren't they? But Chocolatito, for my opinion, I thought Chocolatito won by 3 rounds. Watched it by 3 rounds. I had him winning by. I certainly didn't have him losing by 6. So 3 and 6, that's a 9-round swing. It's only a 12-round fight, isn't it? So the guy's either incompetent, which means you got to go, or he's corrupt, which means you got to go. You shouldn't be allowed to judge again. For example, if you had somebody, right, put tyres on your car like I've just had, and you had something in your car and they took something out of it, or took some chewing gum, for instance, or they left a mark on your seat or a boot print on your floor and didn't put paper down or the plastic seat cover when they do it. That, to me, don't mean they're corrupt. It means they're incompetent, so you don't go back there again, do you? Or you go down and read up Riot Act and get some free tracking for your car. Trust me. That's what I'll be going on Monday when I go down there. I don't have anybody leaving a mark on my floor mats. But the point I want to make is, you wouldn't have somebody steal out your house if they did some plastering, would you? Because they'd be corrupt. Or walk muck in your house without dust sheets, because that'd be incompetent. So you wouldn't have that company back, would you? But why do we put up with it as boxing fans? Why? Why do we put up with this? We put up with that Howard Webb for years, didn't we? With Fergie time. Do you remember Fergie time, where Man United are either losing 1-0 or drawing 1-1, and they play Fergie time, don't they? We put up with all Howard Webb's decisions for years, didn't we? Hey? But they don't put up with that now, do they? Now they just give that, who is it who keeps giving them all penalties? But the fans are not happy about that, are they? But if it were corruption, and we could see it in front of our eyes, or major incompetence, there'd be riots on the streets with football. So why is boxing put up with it? Dana White don't put up with it. It is what it is. Big shout out to Storming Brendan, is it? I know you're watching. You keep leaving comments on the channel. they go to held for review, all your comments. But I'm going to give you a moment. Porky, how can you give advice about boxing when you've not been a professional fighter? Correct. Boxing's subjective. It's just opinions, but I've been around the sport long enough to give a little bit of advice and show how it works. You don't see me getting in ring saying you should throw a punch like this, you throw a punch like that. I'm more of a behind the scenes guy, but you're more than welcome on my channel to have a debate with me anytime you want. Storming Brendan. Couldn't you think of a better name than that? porkycorner@mail.com, Brendan, or if you want to come on, or whatever you're called. All right, but you're starting to become boring. You're sending the same text every single day. All right, just make sure in future that you're not going to be rooting around in my dustbin. All right, but if you want to come on channel and you want me to help you grow your channel, you're more than welcome to come on here anytime and I'll have a debate with you. All right, but grow a pair and come on channel, because your comments are now all going to held for review. They don't go on the channel. All right, so I'm just trying to just let you know, because you're wasting 5 minutes out your day doing it. But as long as you're thinking about me, it's okay. Proper sticking it to the trolls today, aren't I? I had it Gonzalez by 3 rounds, I've just said, but 117, 111. Carlos Sucre, you need putting in prison. It's a total joke. You need putting in a 3-man cell. That's what you need doing. You need putting in a 3-man cell with Adam Smith, Mr. Bean, and Purple Aki. That's what you need, Carlos. Do you know what I mean? Marvin Hagler, I want to comment on that. I thought he was a great fighter. He's a legend. Thought he was robbed in his last fight against Sugar Ray Leonard, who only really fought the last 30 seconds of every round. He got that decision because he was Sugar Ray Leonard, a bit like Ali got them decisions over Ken Norton because he was Ali. So, but it is what it is, isn't it? But Marvin Hagler did it the hard way, like Bernard Hopkins. Nobody gave him anything, did they, Marvin Hagler? Nobody gave him anything, a bit like Callum Johnson. Quiet kid, isn't he? You don't see him hanging out at the back of people on social media and doing 45-minute sermons on IFL and with that little gimp, Rob Tebbert. Rob Tebbert, is it true that you wear women's knickers? That's what I'm hearing. You wear women's knickers. I don't know. He looks strange to me, Rob, but it is what it is. Porky against Spencer Brown. Well, I've done a video. It's going to go out on Sunday. I don't think it's right to put it out this week. It's going to go out on Sunday. We've had a few problems, actually, with behind the scenes with channel, but we've had them ironed out now and everything's okay. We're back to full strength. But the Mickey Theo video on Sunday is pretty simple, really. I'm willing to fight Spencer Brown from Blackpool or Lancaster, wherever he's from. I'll fight you, Spencer, on chief support. So, all right. I'm not bothered what weight you are. You can come in 25 stone, fat as a pig Michelin man. I'll still be coming in 14 stone 4. So let's get at it. So, and you know why, don't you? It's not to do with this John and Mickey thing. I heard something about you, Spencer, but we both know, don't we? And how long it goes back? It goes back about 8 years, doesn't it? So me and you are going to have it. If you don't want it, just say so. But you need to give John Fury a nudge because he's been embarrassed standing by me. And I'm going to keep embarrassing you, John. And so is Mickey, because people like you need to be brought up in conversation about this fighting man thing that you've got going, because you're not having any fights, are you, John? You can beat me, though, John. You're way too much for me. Way too big and strong for me. But I'll fake you, mate. And he's had fakes, hasn't he? Only fakes I've had with coppers and screws in prison, but it is what it is, isn't it? Mickey Way all the way. I did an interview with Russ Gerard, a fantastic kid, one of your own, fantastic bloke. And you meet some great blokes in boxing, and he's proper, jelly deals and all that, proper Cockney. Grew up with Mark Tibbs. I like him. I'm going to have him on again. He talks sense. He doesn't talk rubbish. A lot of people in boxing chat utter rubbish. But usually it's because they've had rubbish chatted to them. And what rubbish I hear now in boxing, I don't believe it until I see it. Everybody's going to do this or going to do that. I had over 5 years of it with Dennis. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. All Dennis did was say things like that, and I used to get very excited. And then when it didn't happen, I used to flip my lid, ask anybody. I was go mad. Dennis were going to do wonders. All he did was shit cucumbers. So, but it wasn't his fault. It's the industry as a whole. Because away from boxing, Dennis is one of the best blokes you'll ever meet in the world. Big-hearted. But he turns into a little monster in boxing because his ego's out of control. Dennis, your ego's out of control, Den. It is, honestly. You've got a massive ego. I mean, when I first realised Dennis's ego were big, when he was strutting about at this show, there were 8 fights on, and they ended up going down to three fights. And there were like 90 minutes in between each fight, and people were giving me loads of earache. And I took these here, horse racing people from here, South Yorkshire Packaging. I thought, I'll get these in with Den. And God, they're like, that's not for me. Dennis is strutting about. There's 3 fights on. Oh, like that, you pull the show, don't you? But that's when I realised, God, Den, your ego's massive. Massive. But you need a big ego to carry it off. And Dennis has got plenty of front. And his record is second to none, isn't it? But how long is it since Clinton Woods retired? How long is it? Long time ago, isn't it? When was the last time Dennis had a British champion? When was the last time Dennis won a British title? When was the last world title? Stewie Hall, what was that? 7 years ago. 7 years ago, wasn't it? I don't know, when did McDonald leave? 2014, right? I don't know, you have to go on box rec, all you gimps. But, so it's a long time ago, isn't it? Clinton's been gone, what? 12 years? Carl Thompson, how long's he been gone? It's past. Move on, Dennis. Go get some signings. We're not talking about people in Scotland who nobody wants. We're talking proper signings. You've been given up-teen lists from me and Terry. People who are going to turn over. What have they done? Well, gone with Frank and Eddie. But you've had opportunities. Go and sign some people. And stop pulling wool over people's eyes. But I wish you all the best, Den, and I still love you. God, I'm controversial today, aren't I? What do fans want exactly? Thumbnails, videos, and car crash. I put a video out the other day, and the video was entitled, I forgot. The Boy Who Cried Wolf, meaning Tyson Fury. We keep seeing him putting fake news out all the time. Billy Joe's a master at it. They put it out for effect because they can't think of anything to say that's actually the truth, so they just put rubbish out and just laugh their heads off. Well, I put that video out at the same time I put the one that the thumbnail said Mickey May all the way, the Russ Gerard interview. And that, for me, were better. For me to interview that bloke who's been around boxing years, he did his training license with McCracken. That's how long it is ago. That video I did with Russ Gerard were better than the one that said The Boy Who Cried Wolf. But we put a fancy thumbnail on that from Jab Apparel or Jab Signature. Shout out to Johnny Owen. Jab Signature. Where's my tracksuits, Johnny? Come on. I'm still waiting for pandemic, innit? But the point I want to make is we put that out at the same time and it did 3 times views in the first 48 hours. And this is boxing fans as a whole. They want car crash, don't they? A bit like me, I'm a car crash, aren't I? They want car crash stuff. They don't want genuine. They don't want to know about West Ham Boxing Club and Russell's story and this and that. And I want to know about that because I'm hardcore, aren't I? But these fans, they want that bit of comedy element and a bit of controversy and this and that. And I suppose it's a bit rich coming from me because I've had it off, I know, with what's going on with this channel. We've just been like this, but this is just how I am all day. I'm like this all day. I'm full on. I don't need drugs or anything no more. I can just be like this and just be me. I'm just being me in front of the camera, but I put them out at the same time just to see which ones the fans would go for. And they went for the Boy Who Cried Wolf one, which is crazy, isn't it? Considering that Mickey May, I think he passed away, did he? A great bloke like that from that end of London. people should be jumping on that. And so that video, if you've not seen that video, the one that says Mickey May all the way, it's about West Ham Boxing Club and Russ, and we spoke about Kevin Mitchell and other people down there, and that's the best one I've done for ages, and it didn't really get many views. The one I did with Max, I forgot what that's called. That last week. That was a great one. The Ali one were great, and they don't do as much as these car crash ones. I think that's a bit mad. But all right. For the last time, I just want to say Tyson Fury has been lying since he could crawl. Tyson's been telling whoppers. But the whoppers now are out of control, aren't they? All this about 12 pints and stuff like that. It's up to you what you want to believe, but I don't believe it. I also don't believe that they fight this year at all. If they do, I got it wrong. I don't believe they do. But I think Joshua don't want it as much as Tyson, and I think Tyson can take it or leave it. But it is what it is. Could you imagine if he lost and got knocked out by Joshua? A bit like John Fury, innit? He got this reputation as this big fighting man. We just love to fight. We love it. You don't, John. You don't love to fight. You don't. You like to talk about it. But if John got knocked out by Mickey, he'd never be able to live it down. But it's like I said to Mickey in that interview, God, Mick. Well, no, I'm not going to say. You'll have to watch this video on Sunday. We've left it. It's that good. It's out Sunday, so I'm not going to spoil it. But it'll do all right. And like I said, we just have to keep it real, don't we? Mick's me pal, innit? He's me pal, innit? He's stood by me, innit? I like people who stand by me and show loyalty. But if you shaft me, I'm off. If there's any snideness going on behind the scenes, down tools and gummy. If I'm near your car, I'll drive off in it. That's Dennis. I don't have any of that snide stuff, because when people are not paying you, why do you want to hang around them? Why hang around them like a bad smell? Why hang around somebody that's going behind your back? You're good, aren't you? You take whatever you've had or learnt off them as severance pay and take the train, get out of Dodge. You move on with your life. Now, for somebody who said something to me, I'm going to address this man, Mr. Stewart. Just down as Mr. Stewart. I don't know your first name. Mr. Stewart, I'm crying. I don't work with Dennis. Look, July I left Dennis. Go look at my views since July on graphs, on analytics. Go have a look. I'm not wasting 4 and 5 hours a day up there, am I? For note. I'm here. We're going in the right direction, but we wish Dennis well, but I wish you'd keep your emails out of it with Dennis, because you know I'm going to answer them. But the point I want to make is people work with people and then they move on. And if you can work with somebody for over 5 years and then move on in boxing, that's great, isn't it? How many matchmakers last for over 5 years, or how many people behind the scenes and there to learn? How are there to learn? I owe Dennis a lot. I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for Dennis. He encouraged me. Carl Froch encouraged me, but AJ Hobson was the main one who encouraged me. He owns Innovation Alloys. There you go. He's the main one who encouraged me. Yeah, you can do it. You can do it. I'm like, oh, AJ, I don't know. Sitting in front of a camera all day. You can do it. You've got the personality for it, and you're not frightened. Well, I'm not frightened of anybody. But the point I want to make is that you've got to be yourself. So we wish Dennis all the best. I don't really want to speak about it all the time, but people keep asking me, are you people actually this daft regarding these scripts? These scripts that keep getting thrown about. When I heard about the Chisora one with the table, you know, being orchestrated and other things, Coogan and Chisora, when Chisora flipped his lid and blah, blah, blah in that interview a few months ago about something, and everybody thought it were real and all that. It weren't. They were just doing it because it were fight week. When you're hearing things like that, where Eddie Hearn said, Coogan, you're going to need to jazz this up. We need to get more people watching. It's all for effect. All these people who keep standing back, being shocked by it. Look, 90% of boxers who are in the public eye tell lies. They do it for effect. They've got to sell the fight. Fury on 12 pints a day. It's not happening. But it sells the fight. But then they go to extreme and you've got Fury putting pictures of bottles of whiskey and all this on the internet. People actually believe that. The people actually spread shit on toast in the morning. That Fury Power group do, don't they? Fury Power! Fury Power! Do you remember them on internet? Fury Power group. They had this group, right, on WhatsApp chat, and did they know who they are? Stig and all these little merry men, taxi driver Stig. They actually had this little group, right? And they were on WhatsApp. This is true. And they used to meet every week and they'd talk about all things Fury. This is true, this. Me and Peter Fury used to piss our pants at this. And you get people talking about who'd done what in week. Oh, Tommy was seen coming out of a kebab shop. Huey was seen doing some jogging. Tyson was seen in swimming pool, and they'd all talk about it. So, and they called this group Fury Power. It's in fact, Stig spoke about it on my channel, and he said it's about get up and go and this and that. It's what it is. It's people with too much time on their hands. Go and get a life and get your noses out of Tyson Fury's dustbin. Jesus Christ. Chris Eubank Jr. on undercard. Chisora Parker. Is that going to happen? Well, I hope so. I'd like to see that happen. I'd like to see Chris Eubank Jr. have a fight. And he's obviously gone crawling back, hasn't he, to another promoter. Or he's come back. He's with Callie Sowland, isn't he now? And you know what I find amazing in all this? This is what I find amazing in all this. Callie Sowland cannot stand Eddie Hearn. Can't stand him. Now, Eddie knows this because I've heard back. He can't stand him, but yet they'll work together to get money. But can you imagine that? Not being able to stand somebody and having to work with him. I won't be able to do it. I couldn't do it. Not even if I had 10 fighters, I'd have to get somebody else to do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't sit there and pretend. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. And this is where people have got no knackers. They've got no bollocks. And I look and I think, look at Mick Hennessy and Eddie Hearn. They had to work together on a Huey fight. Mick was just sat there at a press conference, didn't speak. I could see it look in Mick's face. He's thinking, what am I doing here? But he had to do it best for his fighter, didn't he? But I couldn't do that. I call it whoring yourself out. That's what I think it is. And I like Mick Hennessy. But he had to do what's best for his fighter. But sometimes it's a needs must, isn't it? But it's not for me, that. That is not for me. I can't work with people that I don't like. Would I go and buy something off a certain something off somebody a few years ago if I didn't like them? No, I wouldn't do it. Not even if there were loads of profit in it. Not even if it were the best strong bread or granary bread. If I used to like granary bread years ago, and if there were this best granary bread in the world and it were cheaper than this one I was getting off with my mate and this other guy couldn't stand him, I'm not going to go to that baker, am I? I couldn't do it myself. But everybody to their own. And this is where I look in boxing. I think, God, have people actually got any pride about themselves? You know who you are, you people, don't you? You know who you are. Sometimes you make your bed, you lie in it, don't you? A bit like Dave Coble, isn't it, really? Can't wait with Frank Warren, can he? Because he's done stuff and said stuff behind the scenes. But one day, he'll go crawling back. Remember this interview. Remember this video, sorry. But Chris Eubank Jr., he's with Callie Sowland now. There's a rumour going around. Don't know if it's true. Could be just be chit-chat. That he's going to work with Eddie Hearn again, but he's going to do it through Callie. Maybe that's to save pride. I don't know. But Frank Smith's going out with his sister and he's going to marry her and they're having a big, massive mansion built, aren't they? So good luck to him. But Frank's probably behind the scenes with that. Well, go to Callie then and we'll work with Callie. There's ways around everything in boxing. It's like this Fury thing. There's ways around that, isn't there, with this Usyk Joyce thing. And everybody's all got the noses in trough. They're all eating everybody's hula hoops. That's better than saying that the tongues are up people's hoops, because that's a bit vulgar, isn't it? So they're all eating hula hoops together, aren't they? Usyk's team, Sam Jones, Joe Joyce, Usyk, Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, Bob Arum. They all want to work together because there's plenty of money into there. Hey? Forget pride once there's a few quid knocking about. Straight in, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? Could you imagine these people in prison? Could you imagine half of these people as your co-accused getting in the dock? Could you imagine these as your co-accused on a Section 18 on a Section 18 charge, GBH intent? These people are your co-accused. Could you imagine what they'd be saying? Hey, to save their skin. Oh my God! You'd have to scold them first time you saw them on wing, wouldn't you? You come down landing, wouldn't you, onto ones and just go whoosh. You get them in the morning, wouldn't you, while they're in bed? Sneak in the cell and get them. Hey, like assassins. I find it annoying how Eubanks allowed their Eubanks allowed I find it annoying how the Eubanks have got no pride whatsoever after everything they've said, but they're going nowhere, are they? Eamon couldn't do out for him, and him and his father are a bit daft, I think. But that's just my opinion. But I think the son's got more marbles in his head than his father, because the father is. I think the father's tomatoes slipped off his cracker, hasn't it? What's he called? English. No, he's not wrapped up right, him, is he, English? If he's right in head, I know where there's 100 of them and they're all in Broadmoor or Waff Wood. But it is what it is. Parker working with Andy Lee, is that true? If it is, I'm surprised. But if it is Andy Lee now in the Ben Davidson, Dave Colwell, Shane McGuigan club, you know, where you hang around people and you do these sermons and put yourself into mix without learning your craft properly, and then you're just picking up fighters who are in pay-per-view fights. Yeah, what's Andy Lee done as a trainer? Well, he's been a seconds, hasn't he, for Sugar Hill. Now all of a sudden he's training Parker. Maybe somebody's had a word with Parker, maybe Tyson, and said, look, give Andy Lee a job, blah, 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 and come and do a camp with us and this and that and blah, blah, blah. That's how it works, isn't it? But I think Parker would have been better off with Kevin Barry. I'm sure Kevin Barry could have adapted a style that was a bit more offensive for Parker, because I heard Eddie Hearn were coming out with stuff to Higgins, Parker's manager, that style's awful on TV and not happy. You're going to have to change trainer. That's the word doing the rounds. It was Eddie Hearn that got rid of Kevin Barry. You don't have to say get rid of him. You just have to plant a seed. That's how it works in boxing. They plant seeds. And now all of a sudden they've got Andy Lee on board, and Parker probably thinks that Andy Lee's some roadman killer and he can show him how to punch really hard on that, because they changed Tyson's style for a Wilder fight. But Tyson really had that in him in that last round when he were with Ben Davison, when he were going for it. Why he didn't do that alt fight, I don't know. Freddie Roach told him how to beat Wilder, and they didn't listen until round 12 when he got dropped and he felt that he had to go for it. So I've been down here twice, I've lost here. So he had to battle back in that round, didn't he? But Joseph Parker, in my opinion, this is Joseph Parker, in my opinion. He's got the heart of a breadcrumb. Joseph Parker's the heart of a breadcrumb. If it's not in you, it's not in you. If you've got coward in you to fight like a coward, there's nothing wrong with that. You're still getting in ring. But if you're fighting like a coward, that's your style. Do you know what I mean? You're not all of a sudden just going to come out and be some like Aaron Pryor, are you? So whether Andy Lee can bring that out of him, I don't know. But I'm sure Kevin Barry could have done if they'd have laid it down to it, management, and said, look, you've got to start icing people here because you're crap to watch. You are the stinkinator, Joseph Parker. You bore me. You're boring. I don't want to watch you. You're a Lawrence Okolie, New Zealand. So it is what it is. But like I've just said, there is Andy Lee now merging into a Ben Davidson, a Dave Caldwell. You were the piggybacking into the scene and palling people up when really they haven't got the CV. Ben hasn't got the CV, has he? Who would he train before? Billy Joe Tyson and Josh Taylor, getting all these world champions undefeated, being pound for pound lists. What has Ben Davison pulled that off? Because he's in there with right people, isn't he? It's not what you know, it's who you know. Ability sometimes don't get you through. If it did, Ryan Rhodes would be pound for pound top 10 for 5 years when he was at his peak. But he had the wrong people around him, didn't he? And they're making the wrong decisions. Somebody like Ryan Rhodes, a surgeon, should have been a top 10 pound for pound guy at 154, not 160. 154, but when he did get the Canelo fight at 154, it was 2 years too late, wasn't it? So your Dave Caldwells, your Shane McGuigans, your Ben Davies and your Andy Lees, they're all playing the game, aren't they? Better than all the other trainers. Shannon Courtney against Emily Bridges. Shannon Courtney's opponents' records added up 25, 29, and 9. Ebony Bridges' opponents' records added up 12, 25, and 5. These two women are now contesting a world title. Just digest that for a minute while I get one of these airwaves. Airwaves, you want to send me some? You still haven't? In 2 left. I had a full box of the day. I've got 2 left! Chewing gum. Pilfering me. No toilet roll here as well. We're all driving around in 50 grand cars. No toilet. Kevin, there's no toilet roll either. I'm having to use my shirt. I'm having to use these big industrial blue things that they use in factory for toilet roll. So Andrex, if you want to send us a 48 pack, crack on with it. Bawatsi with Virgil Hunter. He's another one that's left his trainer. Isn't it amazing how fighters have an offish performance, nick a win, and trainer gets kicked into touch? I don't really know, but I've heard it want a good gel. Him having his amateur trainer and McCracken in his hero and all that, all eating hula hoops. So he's gone to Virgil Hunter now. Well, Virgil Hunter, he loves Olympic medalists, doesn't he? You need an Olympic medal before Virgil Hunter will take you on. So he's got Bawatsi now, bronze, and Yoka, gold medal. And he's had Andre Ward, he was a gold medal. So we'll see. But so far, all he's done anything with Yoka, Ward. But I think Yoka's nailed on to win a world title, isn't he? And Bawatsi could pick up one, couldn't he? But I don't rate Bawatsi, me. I went off him when he knocked Callum Johnson fight back twice. So, Porky, what did you do Saturday? I don't think what I did Saturday, I can't remember, but because my memory's that terrible, but one at days of at weekend, I think I drank a few bottles of Black Sheep that you can only buy in Asda, and did a few other things, and raised a glass to Marvin Hagler. And I watched Hagler, John McGarvey, and Hagler Minter. I watched them 2 fights. The McGarvey one, McGarvey gave him nightmares, didn't he? Utter nightmares. He was a WBC light middleweight champion, wasn't he, McGarvey? Did you know Alan Minter was the last undisputed champion we had? Alan Minter, I think. No, Lloyd Hunnigan was it. Alan, middleweight, sorry. Minter were at middleweight. Alan Minter, the last undisputed middleweight king that we had. 41 years ago. All them middleweight champions we've had since then have not won it undisputed. Why is that? Promoters. Oh, just not good enough. Minter, McGarvey, Simpson, Leonard, Hagler, Hearns, Duran. They're Hagler's best 7 fights for me. They're the fights that I like to watch. Who's best middleweight? Hagler, Monzon, Hopkins, or Golovkin. Oh, God, that's a tough one because you've got 70s, 80s, 90s, and then noughties, haven't you? This century. Hopkins, 90s, one into 2000s, and then you've got Glock. Hagler, Monzon, Hopkins, Golovkin. Ooh. All at the peaks. You couldn't even pick a winner, could you, in them? Could you imagine them 4 today all fighting? It's a wet dream for somebody like me, isn't it? What have we got now? Fights are not happening, are they? Have you seen this with Fury Joshua? Leaves a bad taste in mouth, doesn't it? Calzaghe Froch didn't happen. Riddick Bowe, Lennox Lewis didn't happen. Ricky Hatton, Junior Witter. Although I would really want to watch Junior Witter fight. Jesus, maybe a good decision that, wasn't it? The Hagler Mugabe one, I watched that when I was 15. I ended up cheering for Mugabe, but did I know Hagler were on the slide then? Maybe. 2 seconds, I've just got a delivery. Certainly. Over there. Did I think that Hagler was a great fighter? You bet. Was he on slide? Yeah. He was on slide, in my opinion. That's just boxing, isn't it? When he fought Mugabe, but Leonard got him at right time. I think I still thought he won the fight. Yeah, Mugabe was a WBC champion as well. But that was 3 years after Hagler beat him, wasn't it? I believe. 3 years after. And that was at 154, not 160. Put that over there. Goodies and baddies. Who's the goodie and who's the baddie in the Joshua Fury carry on? I don't know. This time last year, you'd have said Joshua were a baddie, wouldn't you? Fury what goodie. And I think it's gone all the way now, so I don't know. I think when we get down to it, Joshua will be portrayed as the goodie and Fury the baddie, but when it happens, I don't know. Conor Benn. What level's Conor Benn? British level. But he's not won a British title, so how can we say he's British level? English stroke British. Till he wins a British title, he's not British level. You can't just go from Englishy level to being world ranked. Learn your craft, Conor Benn. But I know you're watching. Have MTK got Sky dates? I hope so. Lawrence Okoli, author, unified and top rapper like Biggie Smalls. Lawrence Okoli's music is painful to listen to. His book I won't be buying. I don't even like his style as a fighter. But I respect the hustle. And I respect any man who can flip burgers and then go to Olympics and then get in a world title fight. So you've got to be given credit. Boxing's a funny sport. Okoli and quite easily Okoli could quite easily get iced this year. Dropped by Eddie Hills and end up selling crack on a street corner where he's from. With Dean White. Quite easily, yes, he could. Rushing now because I've got 20 minutes until I've got this big interview. Billy Joe Saunders says that he's £200 with 8 weeks to go. Not true, Billy. Not true. I think you've got your sums mixed up. I think you're at 178. You've got £9 to lose, I've heard, Billy. With 8 weeks to go or something. So, yeah, £22 out, Billy. So, do your maths. Fury 12 pints a day, not going to gym. Not true. He's been training and ticking over and not on the drink. Who's worst managed fighter in UK in the last 10 years who won a world title? Russell. I prefer to call me Porky, not Russell, if you don't mind, in emails. Kell Brook. Who's best managed fighter in the last 10 years? Best managed fighter? You'd have to say Tony Bellew, wouldn't you, really? Because he never beat a champion. And he won British, Commonwealth, European and a world title. And he had 4 pay-per-views, but he never took a belt off a champion. So you'd have to say Tony Bellew at best managed, in my opinion. Why won't Sky Ed Honcho, Ed Robinson, come out and open his pie hole regarding the garbage they're serving up? My words exactly. Ed Robinson, come see me. What's tomorrow? Okay. Let's have a look at this. Where am I now? Hang on. Russell Tyres, oh, that's that one. Who's Mike Tyson's best 3 wins? Right. I give Mike Tyson a bit of shit all the time, because I'm not a Mike Tyson fan. Right. How can I be a fan of somebody that's got a conviction for rape and been to prison, and then got a conviction for beating up an old couple and went to prison, and assaulted Teddy Atlas's niece, sexually assaulted her, and the powers that be in boxing turned a blind eye to it because they were trying to get money. This is how scummy boxers get. Scummy boxing people can be. Cus D'Amato, great champ, great trainer and all that. But you know what Mike Tyson were back in the day, but they were going to they had the champ on their hands, didn't they? So they all turned a blind eye. Mike Tyson, right, we all know, is a convicted sex offender. That's true, right? Done his time, fair enough. Convicted of a sex offence. Convicted of knocking old people about. He was a bully in the ring and a bully outside of the ring. That's the truth. Leave your comments, keep them coming. Nobody's going to tell him, are they? Nobody's going to say, Mike, don't do that, that's wrong. Because they're all getting paid, aren't they? You see where I'm coming from? They're all getting paid. Now, Mike Tyson's best 3 wins are who? Who? Who's his best 3 wins? Trevor Berbick? Larry Holmes, you couldn't say him, could you? He was hard at ring a few years on him. We're way past his best. Frank Bruno? Do me a favour. Who? Michael Spinks, a light heavyweight, blown up. But they all sold him like they were selling Joshua, didn't they? So when he come up against somebody who were decent, like Buster Douglas, went bit between his teeth, and then Holyfield, different kettle of fish. Holyfield's way above him in all-time great. Way above. So I just want to point that out. For all you Mike Tyson fans who give me loads of grief, if that were your daughter that he did that to, that Desiree Washington, what would you think? Right? You mind all that Mike's innocent and this and that? Go look at the case. Unbelievable. Liam Smith going to Russia, is that in bad taste? Well, yeah, I think so it is. Somebody's got in his head, hasn't they? Is he being thrown under a bus? Yeah. Fighting a kid 21-0 in Russia. Eddie's not bothered about Liam Smith. Jesus. If Liam gets that fight out of the way and gets a few quid, get out of Dodge, Liam. Jack Jamin. Conor Ben on Instagram we spoke about. It's not my account. Somebody runs one called Porky's Corner and he'll direct you to my account if you go on there. He won't interact with you, Conor. All right. To be honest with you, I wouldn't bother if he packed it in because I just like to do this. But I hope that Craig, I know you're watching, Craig, don't speak on my behalf. All right. Just direct to me, but don't get involved in any back and forth with them. All right. Because they're all double agents, 90% of them. I'm not going to speak about this yet because I haven't spoke to Kevin. Mental health and race. Why is everything turned into mental health or a race issue? I don't know. Everybody seems to use that nowadays, don't they? Even in sports. Oh, mental health. Oh, you're racist. Oh, I don't like that. I'm offended. I'm sick of it. Sick of it. Is Beefy Smith a gatekeeper now, Russ? Yeah, I think he is. That's how it looks to me. And it's a shame. Katie Taylor against Natasha Jonas. That's going to be announced shortly. I'm hearing Kid Galahad and Jazza Dickens could be on undercard. So Tony Bellew there getting in there on a, and it might even be pay-per-view. Oh my God, Tony Bellew there eating hula hoops with Eddie Hearn. Hey, Tony looking out for himself. Boxing's biggest bully from the UK, Dylan White, is a massive bully outside of boxing. And in boxing, you don't like it when he's in a 50-55. You don't like it when he's getting it back, but it's a massive bully. One of the biggest bullies in boxing, Dylan White. Real bully. Isn't that right, Dylan? Hey, shit house. Why is Taylor rolling out? Why is Josh Taylor calling out Crawford when he hasn't even beat Ramirez yet? Are they already getting ready to, if they get beat, to say, well, we're struggling at weight to move up for Crawford? Yeah, probably. Does Taylor beat Ramirez? I hope he does. I'm a big, massive fan, but I'd like to see him with a different trainer. I don't think Ben Davidson's got enough experience to be with Josh, to train Josh Taylor. Fury Joshua, will it be dragged out? Yeah, I believe it will. That should be it now. We're nearly to end. Yeah. How much more can we take with Fury versus Joshua? It's now had about 6 announcements. Yeah, it needs announcements to have an announcement. We had an announcement last June, and they're still talking about announcements now, but for there to be an announcement in 30 days. How much more can fans take of this? We've been on the hook since last June, since Tyson Fury come out and blabbed it. So nothing from MTK and Warren and Aram. Well, there has been now. Obviously, this has been a few days old, this. And Warren's come out and talked sport, blah, blah, blah. Look, they probably want it, don't they? Frank probably needs it as well. He's desperate. Joshua and Eddie Hearn don't need it, do they? They're just happy doing their own little thing, aren't they? But they've got to go along with it, haven't they? Tony Bellew wheeled out on TalkSport. Talking about him, Joshua being a polarizing figure in the sport of boxing, and he's now as big as Mike Tyson and Ali. What a load of rubbish, Tony. Mike Tyson and Ali, come on. Mike Tyson's just done more numbers with Roy Jones in a move around than Joshua and Fury did in the last fights. Joshua is known in America as the bloke who got knocked out by a fat Mexican who eats Snicker bars. So, Tony, do your own work. As for Fury, he's been out the ring 14 months, so stop talking baba. They're talking baba, lad. Baba. But it is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. But what can you do? It's boxing, isn't it? It's the sport of boxing. So that's about it, really. I hope you've enjoyed this this blast that I've done today. How long has it been going on? Well, over an hour and a half, I think. Oh, I hope you've enjoyed it. We like to call people out on the rubbish. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment. If you want to come on the channel, it's porkycorner@mail.com. No MPs are getting on here. No politicians will be allowed on my channel. You're not using my channel to get your word out there. None of yous. None. Okay? So you know who you are, Jim. You're not coming on here. I don't want none of you. I don't like politicians. All right? So, all right. Big shout out to Chris Smedley, Terry Chappendama, Rico. Big Richard Towers, big shout out. Cash Alley, Mick Whale, Josh Whale. We'll give Dennis a shout out as well because he's trying his best in boxing, but he can't do it without me no more, can he? Can't do it without me. I've had to move on from you, Den. You've got to get over me, Dennis. Get over me. All right. So, Dennis, can I just say about you that, your haircut, you look a mug. I preferred you with comb over, Den. I liked you with a bit of hair on your head. I can't cope with this goatee you've got as well, Dennis. You look like something out of Village People. Big shout out to Rami as well. How are you doing, Rami, lad? Hope you're well. I'll come and see you soon. Or you could come and see me. All right, I think that's about it, really. We've covered everything. Andrea Lacoste, get us a tracksuit. I'm sick of asking you. Because you keep sending me T-shirts that I've already got. I don't want any more T-shirts. Tracksuits I want now. All right. Some more trainers as well. All right. Big shout out to my mate Simon Thompson and all them people that have joined the members area on the channel. You get a minimum of 10 videos a month extra, more than people who don't join. So that's got to be. If people don't like it, tough. Peace out. You like that one, didn't you? Right, first of all, I just want to say thank you very much for liking and subscribing. It means a lot to me, because we're on this journey together, aren't we? So anybody got any ideas for the channel, fire them over to me, porkycorner@mail.com, all right? Shout out to Innovation Alloys and South Yorkshire Packaging, all right? Don't forget to subscribe, keep on trucking.